Bethany, on behalf of the No One Likes Us Talking team, have a truly wonderful day tomorrow. Here we go. I'm getting married in the morning. Ding dong, the bells are gonna chime. Pull out the stopper, we'll have a whopper, but get me to the church on time. Can't believe I just did that. Debbie would talk me into anything. I don't know.
Well, that was Ted Robinson singing to our Bethany, who got married yesterday to Jamie. And we know that Bethany and Jamie Maxwell are now very happily married. And that's from all of us at No One Likes Us Talking team. Anyway, better get on with the show. Over to you, Bethany.
Bethany Warren here. Welcome back to season 23 to 24 of our Millwall fan show with new panellists, but the same focus, just everything Millwall. Enjoy!
Welcome to the 2023-24 series of Millwall No One Likes Us Talking's, our Millwall fan show. I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us Talking team of Debbie Julians, Dave Hart, and Stan Godwin.
Not everybody likes them, but they don't care.
We do really. Anyway, firstly, next week we will return to a live broadcast with Maritime Radio on 96.5 FM on Friday at 7 p.m. Watch out for further information. Okay, peeps, it was Millwall versus Stoke City. It was 3 points. It was 1 goal. Debbie, what did you make of it?
Well, firstly, it was expected after the Norwich game, as that wasn't good, that they come out fighting. He made changes. They came out far better. We had the new fullback, Brooke Norton-Cuffy. Am I pronouncing it right?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, good. Brought him in straight away on loan on Thursday, straight in. He's from Arsenal, in the place of Danny McNamara. Very experienced for a young player. We've got a lot of competition to sign him. Coventry liked him. He's a local Rotherhithe boy. Went to the nautical school as well. Yeah. The first half was brilliant. The second half, Stoke brought on 4 subs at half-time, having paid millions for new players. They were strong for the last half hour. We defended brilliantly, and we got those 3 great points in the end.
Yeah, Adomo Imaku come on and replaced him, which was interesting. What do you make, Dave, of what you saw?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Debbie said. First half was Millwall, second half was all Stoke. To be fair, I think we were we rode our luck a bit at times. And the new boy, Norton Cuffy, he'd be an excellent signing for us because he's got a lot of talent, that boy. And he's going to be going places, for Arsenal, sadly, but we'll make the most of him while we've got him.
That's all we can do. Stan, what was your take?
Dave said, and Debbie's indicated, really it was a game of 2 halves. I mean, you knew to start off with that the Millwall performance would be a lot better than it was against Norwich. And in the first half, in particular, we actually took the game to Stoke. Sometimes bothers me is why can't we do that all the time? But then in the second half, Stoke was the better side. But I was glad that Nisbet scored his first league goal at home at the Den. The more I see of him, the more I think he's going to become a good player once we get over these sort of first half a dozen games but once we get through that, I think we're going to be okay. And yeah, and the goalkeeper and that save he made was superb. The only thing, one of the things I would notice with Stoke was, I mean, and credit to them, 95% of the time when they was attacking in the second half and they were putting balls into our box, they weren't in the air. They was all on the floor and they was all at the feet. And that's where that people like Stoke, I mean, I think he brought on 4 forwards in the second half. corners and the odd free kick, none of them balls were in the air. They was all along the ground.
Yeah, they was getting frustrated in the Stoke box. In fact, I think it was the assistant manager who managed to get himself a yellow card. But that's life sometimes, and throwing your plastic water bottles about, well, I have to laugh. But there you go. It was 3 points and we done okay. What did you think about Imaku coming on and slotting into the slot that Cuffy was in?
I mean, I think he's an excellent player, and I think for the time being, I just think what he needs to be doing is getting plenty, as many minutes on the pitch as he can. And there's going to be times when he's going to come on and he's not necessarily going to be playing in the position that you would normally expect him to be in.
Yeah.
Because he looks a capable player, good with 2 feet, his balance is pretty good, he's got pace and a load of natural enthusiasm anyway.
Yeah.
So that's worth a goal start. But we done okay. I think he's a good player.
Well, he got called up for the under-21s for the Republic of Ireland yesterday, so he'll be smiling from one side of his ears to the other, I would imagine, on Saturday. Anyway, we'll take a break now and hear about our sponsor, G&M Motors.
Hi, this is Jess Tuffield from G&M Motors. Operating from a modern and purpose-built facility in Milton Road, Gravesend, G&M Motors offers a complete range of new Honda cars and services. As well as new Hondas, we have an extensive range of used cars, including ex-Motability cars from a variety of manufacturers. Specialising in new Honda cars, G&M Motors has been retailing quality new and used vehicles to the people of Kent and South East London for over 4 decades. We have been a Honda dealership since 1972 and are the country's longest serving supplier of this renowned marque. Conveniently sited just 2 miles from the A2, 10 miles from the M25 and Dartford Crossing, visitors to our showroom are assured a warm welcome from our experienced and friendly staff. Our facilities include an on-site workshop capable of providing full vehicle servicing and repairs, as well as an extensive parts department offering genuine Honda parts and accessories. The expertise of our skilled mechanics is not limited to just Hondas, but extends to most makes and models of motor vehicles. Whatever your motoring needs, visit us at G&M Motors today. The newly extended hours of our G&M headquarters means that you can contact us from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. on Saturdays. To contact us, call us today on 01474 365 026.
Thank you, Jess. Debbie Julians here. Don't forget to call Jess on 01474 813562. G&M Motors have been dear friends with the Julians family for over 4 decades now. From my dad Lenny to me, Debbie, Lions together.
Ah, yeah, Debbie too. Well, I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Us talking team of Debbie Julians, Dave Hart and Stan Godwin. Many thanks to our sponsor, G&M Motors. Why not go along and see what they have on the site? Our first guest hails from Yorkshire. His professional football career began with Barnsley in 1975. He then moved for £60,000 to West Ham United in 1976. But in 1979 he headed to Southend United until George Graham signed him and fellow shrimper Dave Cusack for a combined £60,000 in 1983. He won promotion from Division 3 with the Lions in 85 and was named Player of the Year in 1986. He clocked up 135 appearances for Millwall, scoring 17 goals until he moved to, Crystal Palace after the 85-86 season. Sadly, after 12 games for the Eagles, his professional career ended due to injury. Well, let's say hello to the man who could bag a penalty running in on goal around the fullback. Hello, Anton Otulakowski.
Hello there, Eamonn.
Great to hear from you.
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you, whoever that is.
Good evening, Anton.
Hello there, good evening to you.
Yeah,
hi, Anton.
Talk to you.
Oh, wow, so there's a few of you there, isn't there?
There's a few of us here.
Yeah. You heard Stan, Debbie, and Dave, but they'll reintroduce them to themselves when they ask a question. But before I let you off to the panel, it's great to have you on the show again, of course. But how did Dave Cusack and you come to be a combined transfer to Millwall from Southend?
It's a bit of a mystery to me. I think the story I heard, George used to come down and watch us because we at Southend we used to play on a Friday evening, didn't we?
Yeah.
So, and I think he came down a couple of times, allegedly incognito, but was found out very quickly, and he didn't go into the director's area or the West Stand. He would go and stand on the terracing, and I think I don't know how it came about, but he obviously liked the pair of us. It happened for Dave quite quickly, but it didn't happen for me straight away. He walked, we kind of separated on the deal, and I went back to Southend and George went back to Millwall, and then the chairman became involved, and then I then moved across to South London. So
it wasn't too bad at all. Actually, Les Briley tells a very similar story about when he was playing at Aldershot, and George Graham would come along and try to look incognito, but everyone having seen George Graham on the telly and everywhere else, it was very unlikely that he would go unnoticed, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
You have to laugh, but there you go. Well, thanks for that. Debbie.
Hi, Anton.
Hello,
it's
Debbie.
Here. Yeah, hi. I actually know George Graham, bless him. So.
Do you?
Yeah.
I'll have to ask you how he's keeping, because I often think of him, but I don't hear any reports about how he is and things.
He's doing okay. He's doing okay.
Good.
Let me just ask you a question, which really intrigues me. Is you originally was a gymnastic, so you made a swap from gymnastic to football. Why?
Yeah.
How? I mean, your balance and everything else must come into it, but that's amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was. I think. Well, my mum tells me that I used to stand on my head a lot, and she'd walk into the sitting room, and there I would be on the sofa on my head. And I think she said, "Look, I think we need to get." I think she said to my dad and my uncle, who was a big supporter of me, said, I think we'd better get him to a gym club. So I went to the gym club, and then it just progressed from there, like a local gym club, and then to a more established gymnastics club in Leeds. And then I worked my way up, Yorkshire champion several times, Leeds champion, and then I became an international. But I think the transition, even though it really enhanced my footballing, my balance, able to roll out of a tackle, my core strength, things like that. It was and my stretchability kind of thing, my flexibility was fantastic. I think when I became more interested in football, it worked parts of the body, did the football, then it kind of it was like antagonistic. It kind of it competed against the stretching. I was trying to build my muscles up in my legs as a footballer, but yet trying to make them flexible as a gymnast. And I also think I became a little bit more stiff and not quite so flexible as I got older. And then I got into my late teens, and I moved away from gymnastics and focused on the game, really. So that's how it went.
It's fantastic. Really pleased you did.
Yeah, I mean, it's really helped me along the way throughout my career, and mainly avoided injuries, but some you can't avoid. Hence my early retirement.
Yes, unfortunate. Thank you.
Okay, pleasure. Nice talking to you, Debbie.
Okay.
Hi, Anton. It's Dave here.
Hello, Dave.
Hi, mate. It's just great to talk to such an exciting player as yourself, especially when you was wearing a Millwall shirt. Once you got on the ball, the crowd were really up and just
so
going,
lovely.
and it was absolutely great to watch you in action. Anyway,
So lovely for you to say. Thank you.
In 1985, we had a good run in the FA Cup. We beat Palace in a replay at Selhurst, and then we beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and beat Leicester at the Den. Before we had the fateful night at Kenilworth Road in Luton.
Yeah.
So, what were your memories of that cup run?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I won't concentrate so much on the Luton game, but the other games, I can remember the Chelsea game was let me find the words. It was such an atmosphere. We wouldn't ordinarily play in front of such a big crowd and at such a large stadium as well. But I do remember going out there early and warming up and soaking up the atmosphere. It was an amazing evening. And then we turned the tables on them, didn't we? It was just fantastic. I do vaguely remember, after so many years, your memory does start to fade a little bit. But I do remember Leicester. It was Leicester, wasn't it? Yeah. And I think Gary Lineker was playing for Leicester at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do remember the games vaguely, but I do remember the cup run, and then obviously at Luton, then there was a bit of a crowd overspill, wasn't there? I don't know if you remember it, but I can remember. I can remember being on the pitch, but all the supporters were kind of standing on the touchline, and then when the ball went out, it just hit the feet of the supporters. So it was really kind of strange, and we had to almost excuse ourselves if we were taking a throw in to get the ball and throw the ball in. It was kind of strange, and then things took a turn for the worse, didn't they, after the game? And I think there's some clashing up in the stands or something. But I do remember that game, particularly because of the incidents around it. Really.
Yeah, I don't know if it was in that season, but I can remember a game at the Den when you picked the ball up in the middle of our half, and you went on this amazing run, and you must have beat 6 players and smacked the ball in the net. It was the place just erupted.
Oh my word! I can't remember that.
I can't remember who it was against, but you was just so balanced on the ball, and nobody could get you in. It was just magic.
Thank you. It means a lot, because when you get to my age, you don't remember things like that, and it takes the likes of yourself to remind me and kind of prompt me into that. The player I was in, because I just kind of fall into mediocrity when you come out of football, and but it's lovely to be reminded.
Right. Thanks for those, Anton.
Yeah, pleasure. I'm delighted that you still remember them, and you've got those fond memories as well. Thank you.
Always will. Yeah.
That's nice to know.
Anyway,
thanks,
even Anton, it's Stan here, mate.
Hello, Stan.
I watch a young 19-year-old lad at the Den called Adimo Imaku. I don't know if you're familiar with the name. He just got into the team. But anyway, his pace and skill remind me of you coming down the left-hand side. Now, I want to ask you this. Do you think you might have been as successful in a formation that plays a 5 or a 3 at the back, and maybe have been a wing-back in the modern game?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. Personally, no, I don't think I would have been more effective. In fact, because we played a the George's way, the 4-4-2, and we were very strict with that. When I did move across from Southend to Millwall, I do remember on a couple of occasions where I would drop into a defensive role to help the fullback, the left fullback, which I think at the time was David Stride. And George used to say to me, "We don't want you there. We want you attacking. So don't drop so deep." I suppose that was the pattern of my game when I moved from Southend, because that's what I was instructed to do there. And George freed me. He, George made me the player I was, in so much as you don't need to be so defensively minded. Yes, we did at times. When you're without the ball, you have to win the ball back. But when you're with the ball, you keep it. And that was George's ethos, really. It was strictly like that. But going back to your question, I'm not sure. I've never played any other system other than 4-4-2, so I don't really know how effective I would be. What I do know, what George doesn't know about football is not worth knowing, because I just couldn't wait to get to work in the morning. I was so hungry, so thirsty for knowledge about the game, and George, fed me with that, and it was just a remarkable place to be, for me anyway. I have nothing but good to say about George. So that he did really affect me, and he affected my career so much.
Oh, well, that's interesting, mate.
I probably haven't answered your question, but I've answered it the best I can. Really.
No, not really. No, that's fine, because you see, you said that, you in all the time you played, you only ever played in a 4-4-2, which I suppose at that time was not uncommon, was it? I mean, that was the norm, whatever. Yeah. But whereas today, it's you can be all over. You can play one system one week and something else the next week. So okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
It's Debbie here again, Anton. I spoke to Jeff Burnige today.
Oh, right, yeah.
Well remembered at Millwall, and you're
lovely. That's really kind of Jeff.
So, he also mentioned that when you were actually exiting, Millwall wanted 100k for you, and Crystal Palace offered 10, and the transfer tribunal awarded us at Millwall 19k. So there was Jeff's little bit of contribution there, but he did say, "What a fantastic player you are."
Bargain of the season, by the sounds of it.
Yes, exactly. I've got just one more question. In 85-86 season, you missed a big chunk of the season and returned in mid-December. Can you remind the listeners what happened to you that season and how you returned to action?
It was kind of strange. I had a knee issue, and it was something to do with my knee tendon, and it was like youngsters get these days. It was like a Osgood Schlatter, so it was right on the tendon of the knee, and it used to swell and become inflamed. And so it just needed absolute rest. And it's something I've. It was for quite a long time a mystery, and a mystery to George as well. And he sent me all over the place to try to get it sorted and try to find a remedy. But it actually healed through just basic rest. I wasn't working on it as part of rehab or anything. I was keeping my upper body strong and things, but I just couldn't work the leg. And then I think I only played about 20 odd games that season, and I managed to get the Player of the Year as well. So that was
amazing thing.
Absolutely. I did have more questions, but
no, well, don't worry. I just think that really amazed me, because I never thought that I would manage to get the Player of the Year with only playing 23 or 4 games, something like that. But it kind of demonstrates to me that the Millwall faithful, they don't forget. And even though I was missing for a good chunk, probably half of the season, I was still remembered for that contribution I made. So,
and what a contribution!
Yeah, thank you. I feel overwhelmed with those lovely words that everybody's sharing with me tonight. So, I haven't heard things like that for years and years and years. So to hear it is, pretty remarkable.
You're still well remembered, my friend.
Yeah.
I mean, when I have popped down, I did. I was walking up to my seat. I was by myself, and one of the supporters, I think he kind of shouted my name, but it was a bit of guesswork. So he said, and he went, "Ain't wrong," and I turned around and he went, "I knew it was you. I knew it was you." And he hadn't. I mean, it was like some ridiculous, 40 years gone, and he went, I remembered you. He said, "Oh my God," he said, "I'll never forgive you for going to Palace, but I so lovely to meet you," and took some photographs and things like that. And I was overwhelmed. It's just amazing.
The Lions never forget.
Yeah, they don't. That's for sure. I've been invited back a few more times into the VIP lounge, and doing the kind of talk, the interview kind of thing on the microphone with Brian Horn. Yeah, that kind of thing. I've done that a couple of times.
Lovely.
That's good.
I feel very welcome. I always feel very welcomed at the ground.
Hi, Anton. It's Dave here again.
Hi, Dave.
That final season, we played Southampton in the cup.
Yeah,
they were in the top flight at the time. We had a 0-0 draw at the Dell, and the replay at the Den, which we lost, unfortunately. But the team that you played then, you had Stevie Lovell, Teddy Sheringham, John Fashanu, and yourself. You 4 players alone would fit in my book, would go in any team today. But what do you remember about those 2 cup games against Southampton?
I don't remember much about the games, to be quite honest. But what I do remember is a bit of a trick played on me, which wasn't a particularly nice trick. When we travelled away and we stayed in the hotel, went back to my room after supper, after evening meal, and my room had been turned upside down and water was in my shoes, so someone played a bit of a prank, and it wasn't a particularly nice prank. That's what I remember. That's what I remember about the day. The day before, the Friday evening. What little I do remember about the game was I thought George's kind of ethos around was about closing down, but closing down quite high up. But once one person reacts to closing down, we all should react. And what I do remember about that game is that we really shut down Southampton. What they call it these days is what they call it when it's high up the field, kind of high press. So we were doing kind of a high press, and it really knocked the Southampton team, and I think that's why we contained them, because that and we all worked as one, and that was George's repetitive type of training. We just repeated until it actually sunk in, and we all played as one. We were all, if one did that, the other one reacted to that, and then we all we were all able to kind of close down or whatever it was, or defend, things like that. It was just an amazing way that he got us all to play together. I can't remember much of the replay, to be quite honest. And you said we lost. So I can't remember what the score was even, but I wouldn't imagine it was a very high score because we were
only
very
1-0.
Yeah, we were extremely good defensively, weren't we? Around that period of time, and I think we only conceded. We conceded few goals that season throughout. I think if I remember rightly.
Nice.
As you talking about the defensive things that you were taught to play. That was the way that he liked to play against the teams. Be really. He was ahead of his time in his ideas. Was George Graham.
Yeah, it was, and not taking anything away from George, but he was well tutored by Terry Venables when he was at Palace, I think, and George brought that kind of the Terry Venables way across to South London, to us, to Millwall, and it was fascinating. And then he took that, didn't he, to the Arsenal, and that's why defensively they were incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Anton, Stan again. You certainly thrilled the fans with your pace and skill when with us.
I like you, Stan.
You're not so bad yourself, mate. How would you sum up your time at the Den?
Oh wow! It's kind of weird in a way, but been so many years long gone. But I still have dreams about playing football, and I still have dreams about disguising my injury and saying to the manager, I'm okay, I'm all right to play. And so it's been an ongoing dream as that, even up to today, to current time. But I don't know. It's I suppose I can only talk in simplistic terms. I just loved my time. I felt loved by the fans. In fact, there was one fan who collared me on my way out after a game, and I don't know if you heard this story. And he was with his wife, and they were all holding their newborn child, and I'd seen him before, and he was a regular kind of in the when we came out of the dressing rooms. And he just said, can we have a photograph with the baby? And I went, yeah, of course. And he just said, we've named it after you. We've named him Anton. So I can't tell you how moved I was to hear that. It was, and I think that kind of epitomizes what I felt being at the club, with the club, part of the club, loved by the club. And that still continues. I'm amazed how, I'm just another player, but how you've never forgotten. And that's just, it's so important. And it feels important to me that I'm not forgotten. And I'm so grateful for occasions like this where I can actually, express to you what it meant to me and what it still means to me. So it's lovely. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Well, you're absolutely fascinating. Fascinating.
Yeah, he is.
I could talk all night about it.
Yeah. And I could listen all night, and we could.
Okay, Debbie, yes.
Yeah, it would be lovely to catch up with some of the boys. Do you know what? I was also thought that might be fascinating. Whenever you chat to these ex-Millwall players, to find out what they did after football, and like what do they do now, and that would have been. I think it would be an interesting, kind of. To hear what people go on to do, because in my day, you weren't getting paid vast amounts of money. You still had to, once you left football, you had to kind of start again, basically.
Yeah.
and so so that's what I had to do. And then I suppose there's lots of others, but it would be fascinating to hear what they went on to do. And just to let you know what I've done for the last 20 odd years. Not as a voluntary, in a voluntary capacity, not as a paid capacity. But I was a Samaritan for 3 or 4 years, and then when I moved up to the Dales, up to the Yorkshire Dales about 20 odd years ago, I became a volunteer for cruise bereavement. So I've worked with people who have sadly lost either a member of the family or whatever it might be, and as a bereavement counsellor. So that's what I've done. And more recently, we've just started, about 18 months ago, we started a prison project. So I go into HMP Leeds, Armley Prison, on a Tuesday and work with the prisoners there with the same thing, as a bereavement thing. So, and that's absolutely fascinating work as well. So, I just thought I'd kind of bring you up to date with what I do as well as on a voluntary basis.
That's fantastic, Anton. And as I said, it's great to speak with you again.
And lovely to hear those London voices, those London accents.
There you go. We try very hard to keep them. And for us all to learn a little bit more about you.
Thank you.
It was a time that brought much change at the Den. It was wonderful that you were a big part of it. So
thank you, Eamonn. Thank you. Great. And thank you, Stan, Debbie and Dave. Thank you very much for your contributions tonight. Thank you.
I love that. Before you go, and this is a tradition, please could you give us a prediction for Birmingham City versus Millwall up in Brum on Saturday afternoon?
I knew they were playing on the 2nd. I was looking at this season, what they've played, the 1-2 lost to, haven't they? And quite a heavy defeat in the Reading game. But I don't know if did they play a weaker team in that game?
No, not really, but Reading did and won. They played their under-21s virtually, but there you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
But Carabao Cup, so...
Yeah, exactly. Who wants that anyway?
Yeah.
You can't even pronounce it sometimes, can you? So I reckon it's like a board draw, 0-0, 1-1, with the hope that we might just nick it in the 89th or something like that.
That would be lovely, or even the 99th these days.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. You never know. Well, we'll take that. We'll take a draw.
Yeah, so will I. Yeah, it's the
we look forward to hearing from you once again in on not too distant future. So watch out. I'll get hold of you next season.
You know where I am.
We'll do a bit more. So
we'll catch up then.
Thank you,
everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Cheers, mate.
All right. Yeah. Good. Yeah. You too. Good night to you all. Thanks, Eamonn.
Good night. Good night.
Okay.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye now.
What a lovely man. What can I say? Eh?
Absolutely.
He is. Anyway, we'll take a break there and hear about concessions for Millwall fans at Fisher Athletic.
Hi, I'm Paul, a Millwall and Fisher FC supporter. There's always been strong links between our clubs, and as such, Fisher FC would like to remind Millwall season ticket holders and supporters club members that entry to watch Fisher is just a £5 if you show your card at the gate.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have no one likes us talking team of Debbie Julians, Dave Hart and Stan Godwin. Can't get to Brum on Saturday? Well, try watching Fisher Athletic. Anyway, let's hear from Ellis Barr. I'm so impressed with her progress and starting senior school now. Keep us posted on what you're up to, Ellis. We really enjoy it.
Hello, Ellis here, and I'm glad to be back talking about Millwall. I know many have watched my videos, so you will all know that I don't wear splints as much anymore. Thanks for your support along the way. It is now time to hear what all the Millwall teams are up to and what is next for Garion Rollitt's Lions. Come on, Millwall!
Yeah, come on, Millwall. Thanks as always, Ellis. Anyway, I caught up with Paul Loding, Millwall Romans and Pride General Manager. Let's hear what Paul has to say.
Hi everybody, it's Paul Loding from the Millwall Romans with a quick update. Firstly, congratulations to the Millwall team from last week. I'm pretty sure I predicted a 1-0 win, but it's great to get 3 points on a narrow game like that. Romans were in action on Sunday. We had an afternoon kick-off over at St Paul's. Managed to watch the second half of the Lionesses game. Great result for them. They were playing some really, really nice football, thoroughly deserved, so well done to them. Our first friendly of the season against a very, very strong Bosco FC. Bosco set themselves up very well. Their movement, playing it across the park from left to right, was very, very difficult to defend. We set ourselves up really well. We defended really well. I think our tactic was to, not try and match them in terms of the playing style, but to catch them on the counter, which worked really, really well. We managed to score first, with Bosco then coming back to us at 1-1, and then we nicked a goal to make it 2-1. Nicked another goal to make it 3-1, then coming back to make it 3-2 within about the last 15 minutes, and we replied straight away with our fourth goal, which finished the game 4-3 in the end, with the last kick of the game being a penalty to them to make it there to 4-3. So, but as I say, very, very strong side. We defended well, and yeah, very, very, very happy with everything. This weekend, it's the first of the LUL season for Pride and Romans. Pride are kicking off first. It's a 12:30 kick-off against Titans Heroes, with new start to the season. They're looking good. They've got a good squad going out. Romans are kicking off at 2:30 against Soho FC, again at St Paul's. So we're both playing at home in the brand new kits as well. If you want to come over, come and watch. Not going to be an easy game this weekend, I don't think. Birmingham away in the early kick-off on Saturday. But as I say, I'm pretty sure I predicted it right last week. But I'm going to say it's another 1-0 win to Millwall, nicking another victory.
Yeah, well, you did get it right last week. It was 1-0 that you said, so that wasn't too bad at all. And Stan, LUL is not London Underground Limited League. That's got the London Unity League written all over it.
Ah.
So now you know. Anyway, Jeff Burnige was in a tiz on Saturday at St Paul's. He had to contend being in the company of one Callum Best, son of George, and someone who's a regular on reality TV programmes. Well, I'm sure Jeff stood out with Callum alongside him. But anyway, he filed a report for Maritime Radio, as he always does, following the Millwall Lionesses game at home to Dorking Wanderers, women that is, at the weekend. Let's hear what Jeff had to say.
This is Jeff Burnige reporting on Millwall Lionesses. Well, 2 goals from legendary centre-forward Emma Witter gave Millwall a 3-1 victory over Dorking Wanderers in their first home game of the season. Manager Keith Bonus was able to select 3 of his key players who were not quite fit for the draw at Sutton last week, in Chloe Burr, Hope Welsh and Poppy Payne. He also gave a debut to England College's goalkeeper Darcy Guy to replace star junior keeper Victoria Gmitarek. Emma Witter opened the scoring on 13 minutes, but Dorking, watched by their chairman Callum Best, levelled on the half hour with their first attempt on goal. On 43 minutes, Shannon Drew scored a brilliant goal into the top corner to give Lionesses a half-time lead. They hit woodwork twice, but Darcy Guy had to produce an excellent one-handed save to retain the lead for Millwall. On the hour, Emma Witter headed home Drew's corner to make it 3-1, and the Lionesses never looked in danger of surrendering the points. Next Sunday, they travel to Saltdean United on the south coast, hoping to maintain their good start to the season.
Well, that's not too bad. 4 out of 6. And considering they had so many absentees down at Sutton United, I think they've done thoroughly well. But the question is, for me, Debbie, will you be at Saltdean on Sunday?
I will indeed. I will indeed.
Good.
And Jeff will be, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And kick-offs at 2:00. And Saltdean, if people don't know, is just outside of Brighton. And easy parking. So come along. So, yes, I will be there.
We can listen to what Jeff says about the event. Anyhow, look after him carefully, won't you?
I'll try to.
Okay. Well, next up for the Lions are Birmingham City away. Now, the last time we played them away in November 22, it was quite an even game. You may well remember, with opportunities for both sides, albeit the best chance fell to the now departed to Odense Tyler Bury when clear through on goal to end 0-0. In April this year, we lost by a single goal to Djukovic. Talking of Djukovic, he's one of 6 Blues players Eustace, their manager, expects to be without this weekend for our visit to St Andrews. Ethan Laird is out with a hamstring. Siriki Dembele is also out with a hamstring, and Tyler Roberts has got a calf. They're rejoined in the treatment room by George Hall, who suffered another hamstring injury in the first half on Tuesday. Midfielder Alfie Chang is a long-term absentee with a knee injury. Nonetheless, it's 1 draw away to Swansea City and 3 wins in the league against Leeds at home, Bristol away and Argyle at home. However, they have signed Cody Drama from Leeds United. You'll remember who was at Luton last season, and he'll be a striking threat and maybe in the team for tomorrow with Djukovic out. On the other side of the coin, as we recalled, there was no news that former Millwall Lionesses Burke had signed for them, and he apparently was being strongly linked with Birmingham City. As for us, we've signed 2 players on loan on deadline day. Alan Campbell, Scottish international, and Premier League Luton Town player, alongside Ryan Longman, who comes to us from Hull City. Longman is a left-sided player who's got the potential to go up and down that side, and Campbell is a much admired midfielder. We say goodbye to Andreas Volsammer and also George Evans. Andreas returns to Bundesliga 2, and our man Evans goes along to the Movie Makers Club, Wrexham. And we wish those 2 all the best. So Longman and potentially Campbell could be in the mix for us tomorrow. Well, what do we reckon, team? Debbie?
Birmingham City, the 12:30 kick-off, always lively, but they are on good form. They've got new owners, bought some new players, stronger than last season. Depends whether we get the Norwich Millwall or the Stoke first half Millwall. And I think we're going to come out with guns a-flying. Of course, we've got the last final transfer window at 11 o'clock tonight. So I'm going to go on the edge of most probably 1-1, but then I can't do that. I have to go in, really be positive and go 2-1.
Fair enough. Dave?
Yeah, Debbie's got it right on the nail there. It's going to be one of those games that's going to swing both ways throughout the game, I think. Let's just hope that we can just continue this first half performance that we had against Stoke. And I'm going to be a bit braver, and I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Millwall.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Stan?
Well, I mean, I listen very carefully to all these players that Birmingham are missing. You then tell us that they've played X amount, 1-3 and whatever it is. See, so clearly these injuries have not put them off track too much. But in saying that, I think we can win the game on Saturday, and I think we can win the game 1-0.
Lovely. All your predictions and everybody else's predictions are very positive. Let's be hopeful. We'll take a break now and hear what fantastic fanatics can do for the Millwall Community Trust.
Hi, I'm Richard Gordon, and I'd like to invite you to become a Fantastic Fanatic. Fantastic Fanatics is a great way to raise funds for your sports club. Sign up today, find your club, and securely register your everyday debit and credit cards. Every time you spend with our retail partners, they pay a percentage back to your club. It costs you nothing, and you could win cash prizes along the way. Visit fantasticfanatics.com and help your club be the best it can be.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have the No One Likes Talking team of Debbie Julians, Dave Hart and Stan Godwin. With only 115 days to Christmas, why not spend through Fantastic Fanatics and give some financial benefit to the Millwall Community Trust in delivering their programmes for all? This week saw the release of the Millwall Community Trust Summer Camp Special podcast that our colleagues Jeff Burnige, Miles Thornton and Stan Godwin pulled together down at St Paul's Sports Stadium there in Salter Road. It's been given some coverage on Maritime Radio already, with clips being played, and it's out there for you to listen to. So look out for it on our Facebook, Twitter or X site, and also on our Instagram site. Anyway, let's hear some of the pieces that we got from that event. First up is Tim Sells.
Hello everybody, I'm here with Tim Sells, the Football and Sports Development Manager at the Millwall Community Trust. I'm Miles Thornton from the No One Likes Talking team. Tim, how are you?
I'm very good, Miles, thanks a lot. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks mate. Tell us about what you do here and what's happening here today.
Basically today we've got our HAF programme running, which is our holiday activity and food programme. So at the moment, as you can see, we've got roughly around 70 kids out there enjoying free activity and multi-sports.
Wonderful. Tell us a bit about the programme, what actually happens?
The programme has been designed for children and families who may struggle during the summer to feed or afford for their children to go on these activity camps. So we're delighted to receive funding from the local councils, which then allows us to run these programmes for free. So the kids will come down, they'll have 4 hours of physical activity with us, but they'll also get a free hot meal for every child. So yeah, it's a fantastic programme.
How much of an impact does this have on the kids, and not only the kids, the parents as well?
I think it's massive, you know. I'm sure you'll speak to some of them later, but you know, to be able to provide this service for free is like unbelievable, especially the areas of deprivation that we have around here. So yeah, it's a massive impact.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Thank you.
And we certainly did speak to quite a few of the participants' children and their carers' parents. I'll pop you on to what was the last section within the podcast, and that's where Jeff spoke to Simon Hughes, former Bermondsey MP and a trustee of the Millwall Community Trust.
Well, the thing about community work is it's done for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Millwall do this because they want to do it, and it's the right thing to do. But one of the things that happens as a result is the reputation of the club in the area is enhanced because people get to know where Millwall's heart lies. I think I've seen lots of evidence of how Millwall was so highly regarded in the area. One example you mentioned earlier was the Wrighty Centre, that's Ian Wright's project at his old school Turnham in Brockley. Now, I went down there and we are so welcome there, and the name of Millwall is greatly appreciated and enhanced in the area by the work that's done here. So thank you and all the other trustees, Simon, for the work that you do.
We support the team, as you know. We support Sean, who's our chief executive, and his team. We have a particularly good chief executive, absolutely focused on reaching more people, on offering our services to more people. He's absolutely dedicated round the clock to doing that with his team. and he's got a very skilled team who work with him. So we're the support group. We're the people at the back of the stage who you don't know the names of. They're never famous, but they provide the support. And we've got a very good and skilled group of trustees who I hope Sean feels can give him support. And we're, even as we speak, we're trying to make sure that over the summer we get in our local councillors to come and see what we're doing here. We've had much more engagement in the last couple of years with the mayors of Southwark and Lewisham. We've had much more engagement with the councillors in Southwark and Lewisham. And I think the word is getting out. And it's not just getting out locally, even further afield. Millwall Community Trust means a good community service in all sorts of ways, not just in relation to football, and not just within the boundaries of Southwark and Lewisham.
Fantastic, really. I think Simon captured it all there. But I'm going to ask you, in a sentence, I mean, I'll start with you, Stan. What would you say?
I mean, in terms of Millwall, I mean, the work that they do is absolutely phenomenal. Some of these people suddenly question as to why, as a football club, we do that. I mean, it's absolutely beyond me. I mean, I watch every Saturday night the football on ITV, the goals, and every week they'll have a piece on there about what they do in their community.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously some clubs do it bigger than other clubs. You know, these community things are going to continue to grow, and rightfully so. So, you know, that's the way forward, and absolutely nothing wrong with that. And as I say, with these people that question it, it's beyond me. I just don't understand their thought process at all.
Dave, in a sentence.
Well, I mean, I've been down to the community centre and seen what they do firsthand, and it's just amazing. They're so hands-on, they're so inclusive, and as an outsider looking in, I can't see anything wrong with this programme, because it's just everything that is needed for a club like Millwall to do, and they're doing it.
Yeah. Debbie, one sentence?
I don't think I can get it to one sentence, sorry, because this is something I really strongly believe in. Those doubters, you know, football is community. That's what football is all about. That's our core. And, you know, that's where we've come from. That's our roots. And if we're not looking after the community, it's unbelievable. I do some work, as you know. I go along with the Royal Academy and do bits with Kick and Cook, which is all part of the Millwall Community Trust. It's not just in the local area. It's going down into Kent as well. It's teaching these children that there's life beyond, that there's healthy eating, there's sport, that people care. It's keeping crime off the streets with, in some cases, of what the Millwall Community Trust do. I mean, we should all be backing this, and we should be backing it with pride.
Thanks, Debbie. I think that sums it up a treat. Thanks, guys. Wonderful stuff. Anyway, we'll take a break there, and we'll listen to Bethany talking about Sands United.
We know that some men can struggle to talk about how they're feeling after the death of a baby. We hope that by building trust and a common bond, by playing together as a team, many more will be able to break their silence about baby loss and help others to do the same. Sands United FC has already saved the lives of men left feeling like they had no one to turn to in their grief. Are you a father who has lost a child? Talk to Sands United. They will help. Contact them on sufclondon@gmail.com. That's sufclondon@gmail.com. They will help.
I'm your host, Eamonn Barclay, and with me I have no one like us, a talking team of Debbie Julians, Dave Hart and Stan Godwin. If you or any other man needs support after losing a baby, contact Sands United, because they do help. Well, we're all looking forward to the next game, but in the meantime, here are a few matters of interest for Millwall fans.
First off, you can follow in the footprints of the players and fans of Millwall Football Club as we roll back the years to 1885 and our origins on the island with a history and heritage walking tour celebrating 25 years on the Isle of Dogs. The walk takes place on the 10th of September between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Head over to www.eventbrite.co.uk. I'll repeat that, www.eventbrite.co.uk, all in lowercase, and search for Millwall history. Good night.
Next week, the show will be back with George hosting Miles, Stan and Jeff with a couple of guests. Now, don't forget the show will be aired live on Maritime Radio at 7 p.m. on Friday. The station is also available on 96.5 FM in South East London and North Kent, so you can listen live or catch it online at maritimeradio.co.uk. I'll spell that. It's all lowercase, maritimeradio.co.uk. That's maritimeradio.co.uk. Our podcast will be available on Saturday morning at Spreaker or via social media links. And it's good night from me.
Millwall Community Trust has launched a trainee programme targeted at young people between the ages of 16 to 18 and 19 to 24 from across London, and will focus on providing them with transferable skills needed to secure an apprenticeship, training or employment upon conclusion. Head over to millwallcommunity.org.uk/e-mct-traineeship. That's all in small case.
Don't forget, you'll be able to listen to the No One Likes Us Talking team bring reports from our games both home and away for both the Lions and Lionesses, and also updates on Millwall Community Trust matters. On Maritime Radio, broadcasting yet again on 96.5 FM. Additionally, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, lots of social media sites and all popular podcast sites. Well, that's it from me. Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks, Dave.
Good night from me.
And thanks, Stan.
And good night from me.
That's fantastic. Finally, let's not keep it safe on the streets out there. Good night.